Hello, good afternoon. Lucy here, and I've been asked to share my thoughts on friendship. So I've been thinking about that, and I guess it starts, or my thinking starts with school, which is probably quite a good apt time to think about that because I had a reunion the other day, well, a little while ago, with friends from my school. My husband also had a reunion fairly recently too. So we've been catching up with old friends and other kids that were at school that weren't particularly in our friendship group. And it's been quite a special experience. I don't know if you've had that opportunity. There's something kind of really nice about the coming together after a long period of time with kids that shared your experience at least during the school day. And what was really apparent to me was how diverse our backgrounds actually were. We kind of we all looked the same in the school uniform. We all had our different personalities, which was interesting because the personalities are still there. And all these years later, we're still the same, to a degree. Bit wiser, maybe not. But yeah, we were talking about our experiences at school, and we all had things that we found a little bit challenging, different things that we found challenging. We had, different backgrounds. Our parents, the way our family dynamics were completely different. So despite the fact that we were all in the same place and we had this shared experience, in fact it was a very different experience. My experience was entirely different to one of the other kids. How we felt about things, the rituals that we had growing up, the family behaviours, they're all so different. What's really nice is that when you do come back and you see them again after all these years, it's sort of bam, straight into it. It's as if you don't have to, tear down any kind of defences. You already know each other. That's how it feels. There's something that connects you. When I was a kid as well, I went on these holidays called colony holidays, and they were just the most amazing thing. My mum owned a shop, my dad worked, my brothers were a bit older than me, so I got packed off to these colony holidays, and the first one I went on I was 8, and my mum put me on the coach at Victoria Station and waved me off. Went on my own, apart from the kids that were obviously there. And that in itself was a diversity project. We arrived and we stayed at a boarding school somewhere in England. But that was a coming together of kids from all over the country. There were kids from up north, there were kids from London, from the city kids, if you like. There was people like me from the suburbs. There was kids of all different backgrounds. Some of them had quite challenging sort of stories. But we all came together on these colony holidays. And what was so lovely about them was that even though at the colony holidays there were rituals, you had to write a letter home when you first arrived. You got a bedtime story read by torchlight every night by the monitor in your dormitory. That was so special. What a wonderful ritual that was for an 8-year-old kid away from home. And hot chocolate before bedtime. The daytimes were spent just playing games, amazing games, and outside all the time, singing, and exploring, actually. Exploring, walking along rivers in the countryside. Probably I think I probably learnt more about people on those holidays than anywhere else, and they were incredible. So one of the times, the first time I went, I was 8, I wrote a letter home, and I still have the letter, which is why I know what was in it. But I wrote in there having a lovely time, la 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 la, this is a beautiful place. There are 3 girls in my dorm who are black, and they take forever to do their hair. And that was it. It was just a remark. Nothing racist about it from my, 8-year-old self. It was just a pure observation that not everything is the same as it is in my house. It was the first time I'd actually woken up with kids that come from a background other than mine or my very close friends. I mean, I was the kid that bounced out of bed and didn't put even a comb through her hair half the time. And there was this wonderful observation that people do it differently. Oh, wow. People do things differently. And it was just a complete revelation to me that there's more than one way to get up in the morning. So yeah, as a diversity project in itself, colony holidays, or 8 super weeks or whatever they're called now, are quite an amazing thing. I learned so much about people, and do you know what I really learned about people? Is not to see the differences as a barrier. Not to try and change people, but just to kind of accept that people do it differently. People are different. And I think provided we all have that attitude and we don't try to make other people the same as us, and at the same time we don't try to put our differences onto somebody to the point that it becomes, limiting for them. I mean, these girls, they were fine. They didn't limit anything that I was doing. They just took a bit longer and it was interesting. So I think as long as we just accept that people get up and do different things and have different rituals in their house and different habits and different ways of being, it doesn't matter about their sexual orientation or their colour or their height or their physical abilities. It's more about just saying, gosh, you do things differently. And do you know what? There's something that every one of us does differently that can be of use to somebody else, that we can learn from. That's my experience. Is to, whenever I meet somebody who's a bit different to me, is to be interested, and to see what I can learn from that experience of meeting them. So I guess this started off about talking about friendship, but actually all friendships is us when we're at our best. It's us when we haven't got the kind of barriers that people put up. It's us with the defences down and our arms spread wide and a smile on our face and love in our heart. That's what friendship is, and we can extend that to anyone, even strangers, because ultimately we might not have shared the same experience with them. We might not have the school that we've shared, and we might not have the colony holiday that we shared, or whatever it might be. But what we do have is the shared experience of actually being a kid once and finding our way through the world. It's enough, really, isn't it? Have a great day.